Welcome to Soulfully Blonde. Do you want to feed your soul and nourish your mind? Tune in for motivating messages and meaningful conversations with glow-getters, soulpreneurs, authors, mentors, and coaches as they share powerful wisdom, dynamic journeys, and inspiration that will ignite your soul to shine its brightest. Now, here is your host, Carol Starr Taylor.
Hey, everybody, it's Carol Starr Taylor, and I am super excited for our show today. And just a couple of notes for those of you that would love to call in and speak to our next guest. You can call in through soulfullyblonde.com and click that button to call in. And you can also call in at 1-844-390-8255. That's 844-390-8255. So I am super excited. Just like I had mentioned, I am super excited to bring on Anna Gaspari. And I've known Anna, actually, we met on social media, and she is by far, I would say, as we have promoted her, the queen of manifestation. So Anna Gaspari is a spiritual self-mastery coach, and with her background in creative arts, Anna curates her unique courses and programs to help facilitate change in others. And she is a passionate, devoted, motivational sage. And I'm telling you, you will feel it, guys. So welcome to the show, Anna.
Thank you, Carol. I am so excited to be here with you, and I feel so honored. Thank you for taking this time and inviting me to be here. I'm just blown away at what you're creating, to be honest with you, and you're leading the way for all of us. So thank you.
Thank you. I am so excited about this show and bringing in guests on Tuesdays and having people learn, inspire, empower. And honestly, my goal is to bring trailblazers and glow getters, and that is who you are. And so I really wanted to kind of get into the nitty gritty of everything, because everybody talks about spirituality. And I know that wasn't something that was always how you felt about things. And so how did you get into spirituality?
Yeah, so I feel like looking back at my journey, I have always had a connection to something greater than me, for sure. And I grew up Catholic, went to Catholic school, and I just always had that deep. My parents were from Italy. They immigrated here in the United States. So we had a lot of crosses and rosary beads all over. And as I got older and started to go through my own transformation, 2006, I manifested my dream home. And when I moved into my dream home, that is when the real estate market crashed, if you remember, that bubble. And I had a breakdown. I had a very big dark night of the soul. I considered myself always pretty positive, and I never really thought about manifestation. I just manifested the way I knew how to before I learned about it, right? And then that breakdown, I was standing in my living room, and I remember that moment, and just something lifted my head up and said, you weren't brought here for it to be taken away from you. And then I heard online business, and it was like this voice within me. And I just was like, what? And I like got my shit together and I just ran over to the computer, opened the computer, and started looking. And that led me to Eckhart Tolle's work. And I did a masterclass with Eckhart Tolle back in 2000. I think it was Yeah, end of 2006, 2007. And here I am. That was kind of, I was like, this is the work I need to teach. This is the work I need to learn. And I just understood it. It was like a language that I understood. And, going back, I always laugh. I'm like, my friends thought I was crazy. They're like, ego, what? Spirit, what? Like,
Right.
what
Right.
Anna's gotten all like weird on us. Yeah, so that
Yeah.
was
And
kind of
now,
how it started.
where people used to call, soulful people or spirituality, yeah. I think now it's so much more mainstream, wouldn't you
Mm.
say?
I it's developed, like it's created this like whole new world for me, and it's a different meaning than what maybe before 2006 I had for spirituality. I always thought spirituality was about religion, but I feel like for me it's about knowing who you really are. It's about connecting to the spirit within you, and there's a balance, right, that I think we all seek to attain in life, and that is the physical and the non-physical self. That is that connection to that bigger part of us. And so the
Mhm.
source, you want to call it the universe, the source, but it definitely is something. I mean, it definitely is something. If I'm sitting here with you and I just say, well, who is doing the thinking? Who is like controlling my functions for my body to work and everything? I mean, this is a miracle. We are like a miracle.
Yes. We're walking miracles.
We
Absolutely.
really
We are.
are.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so when I mean, you're always so positive.
Mm.
And so how do you start your day? Like, what's your morning routine? Like, what makes you so successful in manifestation?
Well, okay, so let me correct that, because I'm not always so positive. First of all, I don't think I always say people don't wake up in the morning and go, you know what, I'm going to be pissed off at about 2 o'clock today. Like, that's not the way life works, right? Like, things
Right.
happen. And we just, like, sometimes we do wake up on the wrong side of the bed. And so I get up, and it really is my business. Is I feel it's the art, like that's where the creative and the artistic me comes into play. I feel like I need to be designing something, and right now what wakes me up, I think you have to have something to wake up to, something that you're doing. And I think that when you connect with your purpose and more on that plane, you just are more, it's not that I wouldn't say I'm more positive, but I could shift into positivity quicker. Does that make sense? So I can
Yes,
correct.
absolutely.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
could
I mean,
correct the error, right, quicker.
right. Well, what we do is we recognize it in
Yeah.
ourselves and go, okay, that's negative self-talk. Uh-oh,
Mm.
that's going to lead me down you know,
Yeah.
a vibration that I don't want to be part of.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
And so I think, like, what made me really good at manifesting, and I want to talk about like how before I learned about manifesting, I think that is what always kind of brought me back to, I think I need to teach on manifesting, because I was always really good at manifesting what it was I wanted before I knew it was a thing, before I started to learn about it. And so
mhm,
I've
mhm.
incorporated some of that, because I always connect to what I know to be real before actually I learned about it. Right. So you have a power within you. We've all manifested things that we have wanted. See, we're always manifesting, right? We know this. We're always creating, whether consciously or unconsciously. So we're always bringing into our life, what we believe. So that's like a huge point, is to kind of,
Mhm.
I teach my clients how to look at their own journey, and really, you've been leaving yourself clues all along.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so,
So
yeah.
so I know that you've got like a Money Miracles. That's your signature course. That
Mhm.
is what, your thing. So what is, I mean, I know that there's going to be so many listeners out there. They're like, oh my God, Anna, how do I manifest money?
Yeah. So
Don't we want that? It's like, a lottery from the universe. What do we want,
yeah. Money was the thing that in this world, it's like the false illusion. It's never really about the money, but it's a symbol. So we all have things that are symbols, right? That's how we work. That's how we operate in this 3D world, right? So there are symbols, and money is just a symbol. And before I really had my demise, my dark night of the soul, what I call it, it was always around money. My biggest traumas had money in the mix. So so that's why I decided to overcome my own money obstacles and then teach on that. And so it's really not about attracting money. Money is just the symbol. So it's understanding your story, connecting the thread of where the predictability is, and the common thread that is in all of those money stories and stuff. And then of course understanding what the source is, because money really doesn't come, I don't believe anyway. I don't believe, and this is what I teach, money doesn't really come from your clients or your, it's generated. We don't make money, we generate money. It comes through us, through source and those beliefs. And so that's the first thing. I help my clients to understand that they really are the miracle. That's why everything I title is around the word miracle, because we are really the walking, living miracle, like you said. And so when you understand that you're the prize, that you're the miracle, and you really learn how to tap into that, then money just comes. You ask for things and it comes. And so I know you have some questions that we're going to go over, and the last one will really make that really clear.
Yeah. Well, if anybody wants to call in and ask Anna any questions, feel free to click on the call button and call now. Or if you are dialing in, dial 1-844-390-8255 as we delve into more about money miracles, manifestation, and how to create more for yourself. And so what you do is help people. And what do you think the biggest problem is for others today?
Okay, so I feel like the biggest problem for everyone is that we believe what we see. That's what I think the biggest problem is, right? Too many people believe what they see in physical form, and there's a non-physical substance, right, that we now know. I mean, it's all proven that in between you and we think that it's empty space. Like you could look between, I'm looking into, a laptop, but at the end of the day, there's frequencies that are coming in between us. And so we have to tune ourselves, right, to those higher frequencies. And so one of the things, and the way that, again, what I feel like everybody should be focusing on, which was one of the topics in here, is forgiveness. And so I feel like a lot of people, if they just start to clear, it's called a clearing, you have clearing conversations, you have clearing thoughts, you start to clear your mind. What have I learned in the past? Come with a beginner's mind, start to suspend any disbeliefs that, prosperity isn't for you. Just take that and just say, what if it's true? right? I don't call it, but I've heard this term once before. I was like, oh my gosh, that's what I use. It's called a wonder technique. I wonder what it would be like if I was more prosperous. I wonder what it would be like if I, made X amount of money in a month. I wonder what it would be like if I had all of my bills paid. And you start to open up. And what the question does is like a quantum question. The question opens up for your mind to be given an idea from source.
Right. So what do you want to create for others, for your clients and for the general public? Because I know that you inspire so many on social media and in courses and, and in talks like this.
I think what I want for myself and what I've always wanted for myself is that, I would love to enroll people in the spiritual journey of themselves, who they are, right? Their purpose, why they're here. I also would love for my clients to create, and not really create, because we don't really create anything. Everything is already created for us, but tap into the peace that is already within us. And be inquisitive and understand that your life is an adventure. And I think that, there were so many times where I literally have gotten myself so sick with worry and anxiety. And I was on a spiritual journey, but that spiritual journey, everybody thinks that the spiritual journey is all like unicorns and rainbows and it's all exciting and spirituality sounds so much fun, but it's actually like you have to unravel and undo a lot of BS,
Right. And
it gets really, it gets really muddy. And I think that, as coaches, sometimes we are afraid to bring our clients to that place because it doesn't feel good. And yes, the ego is absolutely going to freaking resist. I mean, I have clients all the time that resist the work that I give them. And I understand that. And I tell them, listen, your ego right about now is going to resist this work. But as long as you call it out and you understand how it works, you can override anything. We get to override the subconscious blocks. We get to override the ego. And I'm not saying that's very easy to do. Because I'd be lying to you if I told you it would be easy. But I will say that you are where you are for a reason, and you are exactly where you're supposed to be. But that doesn't mean that you're going to lose time or anything like that, because you can have quantum leaps at any time,
Right. We have a caller, Marianne Hamilton, Ontario. So hi, Marianne. Welcome to the show. You've got a question for Anna? Hi, Marianne.
Hello.
Hi there.
Hello. Show's awesome, Carol.
Hi there. So what did you have a question for Anna?
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Hello.
They can hear you fine.
We can hear you, Marianne.
In case I can't hear them. Thank you, though.
She can't hear you.
Oh, no.
She can't hear you. Hang on a second.
Okay. So let's just while we're waiting for Marianne to be able to connect, let's just talk a little bit about, because a lot of
my phone, no.
Okay, a lot of people want to manifest, okay, and they hear it all the time on social media and as we're talking right now, but there are people that aren't connected spiritually right now, and they see things mainstream on social media. What is manifestation? What does that really mean to you? And maybe you can shed some light on our listeners, as because a lot of people really don't understand or know what that really is.
Yeah. It's very simple. manifestation means just to have become realized, right? Just to bring into your life, just to become a reality, to become in physical form. So to go from a thought, an idea, something that you desire, something that you want, to actually attaining it, to seeing it, to come true in your life. That's really all manifestation means. And actually, I found like a hidden description of manifestation one time when I was looking, up something, and it was, in the spiritual form, and it said to demonstrate. And I thought that was that really hit me. I was like, oh my gosh, it's true. Because anytime you want to manifest, you really can't think it into reality. There's other principles that you have to follow. Thinking it is really important. Changing your thoughts is really everything, but it's not all that there is. There are multiple principles that you have to follow in order to manifest.
Wow. So, what would some of those be?
Some of the principles. So I have a 5, there's all these universal laws, right? The laws of the universe that you could really, it's really universal laws that you could tap into. But I have looked at all of what I've done, and I said, how can I like kind of give somebody the cliff notes on it? And I did create a little program with a 5-point manifesting plan. And so my 5-point manifesting plan is, the number one thing is just, what is the vision? You kind of have to lock into a vision of what it is that you desire. And you really have to focus on that vision. If you desire like multiple things, then the frequency within you can easily get disrupted. And so number one is, what is it that you want? What is the desire? What is the vision? Number two is the self-image. And self-image is so important. It's number two. And that's what I kind of titled in our talk today, was the fastest way to getting what you want. So if you wanted to focus on one thing, right? Well, number one, you have to know what it is you want, right? So clear manifestation, what is it that you want? The fastest way to get that thing is through self-image. Then number three is, what do I need to believe? Because belief is not something that you just have. Belief is actually a choice. So whatever it is that you believe, you actually get to choose again. You get to decide something different. And that's the thing, when people are like, how many of us, like when we were growing up, we got in trouble, and as a child, we're like, well, why can't I have that? And your mom or dad said, or your caregiver said, because I said so. That doesn't really work with manifestation. So belief is such an important part of it. And then number 4 is surrender. Surrender is where we kind of have to tune into the things that are no longer serving us, and the disbeliefs that we need to just give away and ask to be transmuted, because those are just constant. Because anytime you come up against the thing that you want, it's like the law of defense has to come into play and challenge you. That's just the universal law. It's what happens. That's what happened to me when I moved into my house. I did not know that at the time. If I were well versed, I would have been like, oh, there you are. Here it is. Like, yes, I got what I wanted, and now I am challenged with exactly the opposite. And so that surrender piece is so important. And that's like, you have to do that daily. And then number 5 is just aligning your actions, what you need to do to move forward, the action step that you need to move forward.
Awesome. So after the break, we're going to take a caller or two, and then we will talk about what we should be focusing on in this world. So let's stay tuned till after the break.
This segment of the show is brought to you by Star House Publishing, Inc. Have you always dreamed of writing a book and sharing your story? What's holding you back? Perhaps you've not moved forward because you don't know what to do or who to trust. By choosing to partner with Star House Publishing Inc., they can help you make your dream of publishing reality with a shelf-quality book. They are an author-focused company taking a collaborative approach with your unique book. Your voice is your gift to the world. It will inspire, inform, motivate, entertain, teach, and emotionally move people to make a difference and change the trajectory of their lives with your words. Their compilation projects offer bundled professional services, including one-on-one coaching with NLP, global distribution to over 70 online retailers. Star House Publishing is currently filling their 14th compilation book, The Soulology Chronicles Glow. Star House Publishing is your complete professional publishing solution. To contact Star House Publishing for your solo book and or to be a part of the compilation, The Soulology Chronicles Glow, for both men and women, contact starhousepublishing.com.
And we're back. And thank you, Anna, for being here. For those of you that are just tuning in right now, we've got Anna Gaspari, who is a manifesting queen. She is a coach. She is a spiritual self-mastery coach, and she is unbelievable. And I see that we do have a caller. So we've got Marianne, and she's from Hamilton, Ontario. Welcome to the show, Marianne.
Thank you, Carol. This is lovely. Thank you. I'm happy to be here. It's been great so far.
Hi.
Hi there, Anna. I love your content. It's great. It's very, very inspiring and very helpful. I've taken some notes here. So I do have a question, and I think you have answered some of it, but I think in the sort of general whole feeling around money, and I think, you know, like so many of us do feel this way, I guess, you know, I've done very well in business, and then when business sort of goes for a crap on you and you lose your, I don't know if it's confidence or what happens, and then you just start to see things dwindle. And that's sort of where I feel I am in my career these days, and making a transition and not really knowing which way to turn. So, you know, you say you try and visualize. I feel I've done that over, I don't know how many years, 25 years I've been in my own business, and I just seem to have lost that vision. Do you feel that sometimes people just are looking for new changes, and then where do you find that new vision again? Maybe it's a silly question, because I find that the finances, you know, sort of, you know, get in the way when you start seeing it, the lack of it, and then you're just like, oh my God, like how am I going to pull myself out of this now? And you sort of beat yourself up. So that's sort of where I'm at. And even though I read the books, I'm up early every morning, I go for my morning runs, I meditate. I even try and say to myself, I'm manifesting new customers, new clients in my design business, and then I don't get anywhere after that. So
yeah,
if you could sort of shed some light on that one.
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you for calling, and I love your question. And so I feel like that, you know, there was a lot there, and one of the things that I can tell you is that I feel where a lot of people go wrong is where they will make more money, but they don't expand into the vision of their new self-image and hold that vision long enough. And so I will tell you that there was a very specific time in my career when I busted through a very big number monetarily. And I remember when I got that paycheck and I was like, I cannot believe, oh my gosh. So number one is watch your words. When you're like, I can't believe or whatever, you want to definitely understand there's power in words. And I know you said that you do visualization and all of that stuff, but it doesn't really matter. Visualization is amazing. And that is absolutely the one of the magical planes that's our fourth dimension. However, there's a subconscious belief that's deeper. And so when you could recognize the negative talk, this is where I really train my clients to say, wait, what was that you said? Let's put that down on paper. Let's thank the subconscious and let's reframe that right away. It's the awareness of your old self, because your old self is always going to come back up and give you the same story that it has, because your subconscious is just like a computer chip, right? It only knows from your past experiences and perceptions. So change your thoughts, change your life, but that doesn't stop. See, you're in a loop, and your story, this is what I find fascinating, is that our stories are the same story on loop.
Absolutely.
So
I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter if you're making $100,000 a year or $500,000 a year, that same story will come up, but it'll just haunt you in a different way. That's all. And so as you start to become aware of the loop, right? Because we are all energy, and there's no such thing as being stuck. Everything is continuing to go on loop. It's always in motion. You're just attracting the same thing over and over and over. So once you realize what you're attracting over and over, then you can say, oh, wow, I need to shift now into a different timeline. So what's the past? What's predictable? Well, the predictable is what you said, right? Go down in your income, get feared, all of that stuff. Or we can go into what's possible, right? There's another thing that's possible for you. What's possible is that you stay or you go to the next level, right? And who would you need to be, and what would you need to believe to get to that next level? And then I can't even stress this enough. You can bust that frame open to expand that box and break out of that box if you change your self-image. That's the quickest way to do it. So, and it doesn't matter how much money you have in your bank account, which that is the paradox. Welcome to the paradox, because this is what it's all about, right? It doesn't matter how much money you have in your bank account. You have to come from a place of the desired goal already achieved. That's where the whole thing is. Not only act as if, it's not just acting, it's anchoring in that feeling and conviction of claiming that. And I have a miracle methodology that I created, and it's continuing to grow for me, but it goes from desire, what you desire, what you envision, to a declaration. And a declaration is very different than a desire. A desire is like, this is what I want. But when you declare it, you start to move mountains, and you start to do things, and you start to show up in ways that you don't actually change. We never really change. That's the funny thing. So if you think that you're going to change, and I think the ego's like, ooh, you don't want to change, but you change your way of thinking. And when you change your way of thinking, you really do broaden the scope of what you can see.
You know what I found?
Yes,
you know what I found?
Yes,
yeah, I mean, what I found was when I'm working with people, and also in the context, not only in NLP, but in the context of writing, a lot of people have this limiting belief, and they're stuck. And once they have cracked open, because I think that writing your story does crack open a lot of things that need to come out. And so it's taking action, and it's the first step. I find that there is so much abundance for people after the fact. Once they've done it, don't you find that, Anna? I mean, even with your experience, there is so much abundance that comes from that. It's because I always say, get out of your own way.
Yeah, well, commitment is keeping a promise to yourself. So when you achieve something, that you wanted to do, it's like, oh my gosh, you almost blow your own mind. So I feel like blowing your own mind is really what's going to bring you to the next level. It's not what I always tell my students, my clients of my work, I go, listen, I love you, but you're the one who's going to blow your own mind. I only need to be true to myself. I only need to say what I need to say that feels good for me in this lifetime, what I'm here for. When I do that effectively, I'm going to switch on a part of your DNA that already exists, you know?
Right.
So, you know, I don't know if that answered your question, Marianne. I mean, but when you come up against a challenge, I really encourage you to understand that it's just you. The challenge is a mirror to what you need, because the law of attraction, here's the real reason for the law of attraction. Okay. The real reason for the law of attraction, this is why this world and the universe and the energies is so freaking amazing, and you are a miracle, is because it's for you to get clear on who you are and what you want. It's a mirror. So when you come up against a challenge, you go, ooh, what do I need to do? Who do I need to be? What do I need to believe to rise above this challenge? That's really what the law of attraction is here for. It's not a bitch boy. It's not something that's like, I am entitled to all this. You're entitled to it if you are truthful to who you are. But if people are hiding behind other people's opinions and fear, and listen, I'd be lying to you if I said to you that I don't have any fears, but every day I get to wake up and I get to find out who I am. And that's what really mourning means. You're mourning the person you were yesterday to be the person that you need to be today and moving forward. We get to mourn who we were yesterday to become who we are, die to the self. We get to do that every day. We get a new chance. So it doesn't matter where you are today. You get to quantum leap. Look, I have chills all over my body. It's so amazing.
I know, that's amazing. That's an incredible line. Oh, that's a little bit about the law of attraction. Like, yeah, I've heard it, but you know what? The way you've just spoken on it right now is very, very powerful. That's wonderful. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
so
you,
welcome.
Marianne. I mean, I find that the law of attraction, when we attract, so here's something about the law of attraction, Anna, because this is what I've seen as well. We attract what we want, who we are, who we want to be, and we're stepping into that. And then something happens. Okay. So we've attracted it. We've seen the signs. We've done the work. And then we stop, boom, we stop in our own tracks and we don't take action. And so, yes, we've attracted it, but our fear and our limiting beliefs start to creep back in. And so the law of attraction works, but we have to, when we see the signs, we have to say, let's do this, let's go, and go out of our comfort zone, even if it's painful, scary, all of that, because what we're doing is we're standing in our own way. And so that is, you know, that is definitely, I think, one of the main issues with law of attraction.
Yeah, totally. Well, like I said before, it's that law of defense that gets triggered when you attract something, because it's all of your limiting beliefs that are coming up to challenge that, to see if you really have expanded into that way of being, that state of being. Does that make sense? So it's almost like, I used to say, like, the universe is testing you. And then one day I was like, wait, that can't be, because I'm like a child when I really like start to understand and learn something. And I'm like, that can't be. I don't really feel like the universe is going, you know, I'm going to test Anna now. No, it's an energetic law. It must come it must come up, because think about it for a second. If you have a limiting belief, this limiting belief is a thought. A thought is energy. So that energy has to come up and it has to go somewhere, because you can't create or destroy energy. So that energy comes up and it has to get transmuted. So you get to look at the energy and then you get to go, oh, hey, I'm over you. Bye. And you get to love it, thank it, and transmute it into your next level you.
Right.
Oh,
Right.
It's
wow, I love that.
magical.
Right. Well, thank you so much, Marianne, for calling in. After the break, we're going to get into the power of success.
Have you ever struggled to finish a tub of protein powder? Get bored easily with your protein powder flavors? Or are inexperienced with supplements and aren't sure what works for you? Scoop Supplements is your answer. Scoop Supplements is the first and only company to offer protein powder and supplements by the scoop, customized just for you. Choose from a variety of flavors. Select your supplements in any quantity you desire and have it shipped to you. Delivering across North America, Scoops lowers the commitment and increases the variety of your supplements. To learn more about Scoops, you can visit them at scoopsupplements.com or on their Instagram page at Scoop Supplements.
And we're back with Anna Gaspari. Thank you for joining us. And so for those of you joining us late, I just want to let you know Anna is a self-mastery spiritual coach and will help you with manifestation. She is the queen. And so I really wanted to kind of move on to what you think success really is about. I mean, people talk about success and talk about manifestation and talk about law of attraction and all of these things and these money miracles. What does success mean to you?
Yeah. I had to reframe success many of times, but for me, success means, am I doing what I want to do? Am I doing my soul's desire when I want to do it, with who I'm doing it with? Do I feel free in the way I express myself? And, do I have harmony in whatever that is, finances, and here's like a little bit of a trap, to be very honest with you. So I want to remind your callers that manifestation with patience is a whole nother story. But if you are saying, you know what, Anna, because I get this sometimes, you know what, Anna, I'm not making all the money I want to make, but I feel really good. That's great. Stay on that path. That's where a lot of people go wrong, is they continue to change because they're always looking at their bank account. They're always looking at their title. They're always looking at something. If you have peace, if you have figured it out and you're in a joyful state, continue on that, and only evaluate that so many times, because that's a big trap for some people. So success for me is really, again, doing what it is that you love. You could feel it in your body if you don't have anxiety around whatever that is, your business, your money. You just know, right? You just know that you're on the right track. This is why you have to be very, very diligent and disciplined in your mind and who you allow in your space and what you are listening to.
Right. So do you have any advice to our listeners on how to keep your vibrations high?
Yes. One of them is the forgiveness that I told you about earlier. I really do feel that you have to go into your life and say, where are any grievances that I hold? Because, one of the things about forgiveness is, basically in the dictionary, it says that forgiveness is a deliberate decision to release any feelings of resentment or vengeance towards maybe a thing, a person, a company, or whatever. So you make a deliberate decision to say, you know what, I'm going to surrender any grievances, because we are a body and a mind. We are in this great big mind, this universal mind. This is why the law of one really is true. This is the law of one. Okay, we really are all one. This is why we have to work on forgiveness, because we're in a split. We're in a twin system. What I call the physical and the non-physical, right? I call the ego and the miracle mind. So, or spiritual mind, whatever you want to call it. And so you have to understand that the body holds energetic blocks, and your whole life here is a curriculum of returning to source, returning to where we came from. It's a journey home to where we came from. We came here as little babies, a miracle, beautiful. We love everybody. We smile, and then we're told no. We get beat. We go through traumas, all of that, and then we get into someone else's paradigm, and we're here to unfold and forgive. Forgive. Right. It's the fastest way. It's one of the things we're missing in this world right now, especially right now.
Yeah, I mean, I always say forgiveness sets you free. And that doesn't mean, a lot of people, I think they misconstrue that forgiveness is the same thing as forgetting.
Right.
And so, right? Don't you find that?
Oh, absolutely. Forgiveness is not like enabling somebody to, to violate your boundaries any longer. It's about you, it's about releasing the resentment and any vengeance, right, towards that person, place, or thing. So it's clearing in your body. It's clearing of energetic blocks that are in your body, and the body is the subconscious. So if you're like, you're in a habit, there's habitual things that you do and don't do every single day. And you just don't know why. Like when I wrote the book, right? I mean, I wrote a book with you, and I used you as my coach and mentor, and I have had blocks, and because I knew that was a resistance towards something greater for me. And sometimes we're just not ready. We're afraid of how great we really could be. We're afraid of being challenged, of someone calling in but when you release, here's one of my wisdom drops. I don't have to be right. You don't have to be right all the time. You don't have to know the answer all the time, because if it were that easy, everybody would be in the same place at the same time, doing the same thing. We all have our own personal journey. So I'm not here to convince someone else of my beliefs. And, that's another thing, if we all just learn to appreciate differences, right? But when you could release that need to be right, amazing.
Awesome. So after a very quick break, we are going to hear Anna's last bit of advice and where you can find her and what we are going to be moving on next to. So stay tuned.
This segment of the show is brought to you by Star House Publishing, Inc. Have you always dreamed of writing a book and sharing your story? What's holding you back? Perhaps you've not moved forward because you don't know what to do or who to trust. By choosing to partner with Star House Publishing, Inc., they can help you make your dream of publishing reality with a shelf-quality book. They are an author-focused company taking a collaborative approach with your unique book. Your voice is your gift to the world. It will inspire, inform, motivate, entertain, teach, and emotionally move people to make a difference and change the trajectory of their lives with your words. Their compilation projects offer bundled professional services, including one-on-one coaching with NLP, global distribution to over 70 online retailers. Star House Publishing is currently filling their 14th compilation book, The Soulology Chronicles Glow. Star House Publishing is your complete professional publishing solution. To contact Star House Publishing for your solo book and or to be a part of the compilation The Soulology Chronicles Glow for both men and women, contact starhousepublishing.com.
And so here we go. We are back from our quick little break. And so, Anna, where can people reach you? Where can they find you?
So on Instagram, I'm under at the Spiritual Grind, and hello@annagaspari.com is my email, and www.annagaspari.com is my website. So everything is there. You can check that out. I have all the links and all the things there.
Amazing. So I wanted to ask you, what is coming up for you? Because you're very busy. You are always doing something. You've manifested it, but you've taken action. So what is coming up?
Yeah. Well, co-authoring the book with you has been really interesting, and that's been fun. So that's coming out in the next few months. And then I'm being featured in a magazine for coaches and mentors. That's coming out in August. So if you go to the Spiritual Grind on Instagram, you'll be able to see all of that. I have been doing some rebranding right now, which has been something that I needed to break through personally. That has actually a very deep story to it that I resisted for a long time, but that's been a big deal for me. And I just had my second brand photo shoot. So that's been really interesting. I know.
That's awesome. That's
and
awesome.
Yeah, and then writing my own book is something that I'm really interested in 2023.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
And if you could give one piece of advice to leave our listeners with, or a mantra that you want to have them take away, what would that be?
Yeah.
I know I'm putting you on the spot now.
Yeah. Well, the mantra that came up for me as soon as you said mantra is help me to see this in a different way. I feel like that mantra has helped me so much. Help me to see this in a different way, because everything you see is not true. Everything you see is not always true. So you want to always open yourself up to the divine guidance that you already have. I want to tell your listeners also that everything that you desire is desiring you. Everything that you desire, because desire means of the sire. And if you understand that it was given to you for you, then you're either accepting or rejecting it. So I want to tell you that you are the miracle. You have a responsibility to get what you want here on earth. And then when you get it, right, to do good things with it, of course. So I really believe that from the bottom of my heart. We're born to prosper, and prosper really to me means to have peace. Prosper is another word for peace in my life. So if you have financial peace, if you have business peace, if you have success peace, if you have family peace, relational peace, children, peace around your children, then that's what life's all about. If I have peace around all of those things, then I've won.
Right. So then, when we have an obstacle or, things that are out of our control, how do you handle that?
You take a pause and you stop, and for me, I connect to my heart, put my hand on my heart, and I say, help me to see this different. And I pray, I pray to God. That's what I do. And you could connect to the greater source that, you follow. And I just ask for guidance. Help me to see this different. The first thing, it starts in the mind, and the mind, God bless our mind. I mean, it doesn't stop. We have a beautiful mind. It even works when we're sleeping. And I love that. But, peace is yours all the time. And you can connect to that at any time through your breath. The breath, your life is through your breath. Everything is through your breath. You stop and you just realize that maybe what you see is not true. And so how could it be true? How can what you want to see be true for you? And so that's within your own divine guidance. You have to ask your guidance at that time, in that right now moment. What is your next step?
And what if people are hearing that and seeing that, but they don't take action toward it?
Well, then they don't want it as bad. They don't want it bad enough.
Right.
If they're not taking action toward it, they see it and they want it, but they're not actually doing it. It's difficult work. But once you get in the flow of it, once you practice, it's practice. It's like when I was a yoga instructor, I would say, your practice is on the mat, is on your mat. It's not on my mat, it's on your mat. And that is how our life is. It's our practice. And it's not an overnight fix. I'm sorry. I know everybody wants to hear that, but
everybody wants instantaneous, it's like bum, 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 bum.
I've been teaching and learning this for 13 years. I've been in this practice. And it's my life. Like I study 80% of the time, my action is only very small percentage.
Yeah. Well, it has been a
Thank
power hour. We could talk forever.
I know. I feel like that was 5 minutes.
It feels like it. And I got to tell you, I mean, this is a huge topic and there is so much more. I would love to have you back on the show and tell our listeners to follow AnnaGaspari.com, The Spiritual Grind. And I'm telling you, follow her. She is a glow getter and a trailblazer, and she will light up your soul. So thank you so much for coming on the show and enlightening our listeners. And I look forward to having you back.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for listening to Soulfully Blonde. To stay connected with Carol Starr Taylor, go to soulfullyblonde.com and tune in Tuesdays to the live show, weekly at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, or catch the replay. You can also subscribe, share, and rate the podcast on your favorite platform. To be a guest and/or a sponsor, contact Carol at www.soulfullyblonde.com. Until next time, remember, there is a star in all of us. Keep growing and glowing.